right, so constellations, kids. It's Constellation Week. Constellation, a pattern of stars in the sky. But that's not really all of it, because there's also this thing called an asterism, which is also a pattern of stars in the sky. Constellations have to be recognized as constellations by the Astronomical Society. There's 88 recognized constellations by the International Astronomers, blah, 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 you know what I mean. And then there's some asterisms. An example of an asterism would be the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is part of Ursa Major, but it's not recognized as a constellation. It's Ursa Major, there's this whole shape to it, and the Big Dipper is only a small part of that, which is the tail of the bear and its back end. But so groups of stars that make a pattern is a constellation, if they're recognized as a constellation. 88 recognized constellations, 12 zodiac constellations. The zodiac constellations, the sun has to pass through that constellation at different times throughout the year. And so the sun passes through 12 or 13, depending on who you ask, constellations as it goes around, as we go around the sun throughout the year. The line the sun follows around through the zodiac around the year is called the ecliptic. And I will show you pictures of that on the screen, I hope. That should be easy enough to put up there. So the famous constellations, and there's the Big Dipper, there's the Little Dipper, there's Orion. Those are the famous ones, but I'm going to talk about larger groups of them. First, the northern constellations, which are called the northern circumpolar constellations. If you're in the northern hemisphere and you look up at the North Star, there are constellations that go around the North Star, and it's always the same ones, and they're visible all year long, and I want you guys to know about them. They're called the circumpolar constellations. They can be seen all year long. They never set below the horizon. They appear to move around in a counterclockwise motion around Polaris. The North Star's real name is Polaris. That one's going to be on the test. 88 constellations recognized by the Union on the test. What's the constellations on the test? Ecliptic is on the test. So the apparent motion is caused by the Earth's rotation. The famous circumpolar constellations are Ursa Major, which contains the Big Dipper. Ursa Minor, which contains the North Star Polaris, which was not the North Star 27,000 years ago. The North Star changes every 27,000 years or so because of Earth's precession, which is a wobble in its in the angle that the axis is pointed towards the sun. Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Cassiopeia, Draco, and Cepheus. Cepheus is the king, Cassiopeia is the queen, she's his wife. Their daughter is Andromeda, the hero that saves her from the Kraken is Perseus. All of this was in the movie Clash of the Titans. Ursa Major is the big bear, Ursa Minor is the little bear. I'm going to talk more about those at a later time. Best known constellation in the sky is actually an asterism. The Big Dipper is an asterism that is part of the Ursa Major, or Big Bear. I'm going to show you pictures on the screen, I hope, of Ursa Major, and then I'll point out the Big Dipper. And then we're going to look at the entire northern sky later this week and try and find the Big Dipper and use the Big Dipper to find the Little Dipper, because the Big Dipper has two pointer stars, and if you connect them, the line leads straight over to the Little Dipper's North Star, and then that's easy to find the Little Dipper. And from there you can find Draco, Cepheus, Cassiopeia, Andromeda, Perseus, and so forth. Let's see. Summer constellations, there's 3 summer constellations, and if you connect the brightest stars in the 3 summer constellations, you get the summer triangle. The summer triangle is an asterism, not a constellation. But if you find Vega in the Lyra constellation, Vega is the brightest star in the Lyra, that's the harp, Lyra, and you find Altair in the Aquila constellation, Aquila is the eagle, and you find Deneb in the Cygnus constellation. Cygnus is the swan. Cygnus is the only constellation that I think looks like what it's supposed to be. It's a swan. Well, the Big and Little Dippers look like dippers, but one of them's not a constellation. One of them, and they're not called that. They're called Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. But Vega, Altair, and Deneb, you connect them together to get you the Summer Triangle. Summer Triangle is a navigational tool, along with the Southern Cross and the North Star. Those are navigational tools for helping ships find their way at sea. And so if you find the Summer Triangle, it's easy to find your way around the universe, or the oceans, really. I shouldn't say universe, but I'm talking about space right now. Orion, one of the most famous constellations, one of the easiest to find. Orion's belt has 3 stars on it. Orion's belt is very easy to find. It's a winter constellation, and very easy. It comes up over the horizon in the winter. In the summer, it's very hard to see because it's down below the horizon. But it has 2 famous stars. Betelgeuse was one of the orangest stars in the sky, but it is now turning pale, and we think because of its mass and because of how pale it's getting, it's going to go to supernova in the next 1,000 to 10,000 years. Can't prove it, don't know for sure, but it was a red supergiant. Now it's not red anymore, supergiant. So it might be on the verge of going boom. We don't know. Rigel, a very bright blue star. If it's blue, it's very young. This one's real bright. It's real blue. It's very young. It's very big. And so one of the brightest stars, blue supergiant. One of the brightest stars in the night sky. I'm not going to delete any of that just because it's annoying and I want y'all to see it. Rigel is part of the Betelgeuse. If you look at Betelgeuse's shoulder, if you look at Orion's shoulder, you see Betelgeuse. If you look at Orion's skirt, or whatever the Romans called those skirt things, you see Rigel on the lower right side. I will try and point out later this week, as we go through our lessons this week, how to find all of those constellations, every single one of them. I want you guys to be able to see these things in the sky when you look. If you can find Orion, and you take Orion's belt and go up and to the right, you find Taurus, which contains an asterism called Pleiades, which in Japanese constellations, the Pleiades is its own constellation, and it is called Subaru. But the Pleiades is the 7 sisters. They're part of Taurus's constellation. Taurus is very easy to find. Aldebaran, the brightest star in Taurus. If you can look up and to the right from Orion, you find Taurus. If you look down and to the left from Orion, you find Canis Major. To the left of Orion, Canis Minor. Below Orion, Lepus the hare, big rabbit. Pardon me. Above and to the left of Orion is Gemini, one of the zodiac. Orion is below the zodiac. It's not in the zodiac. Taurus is in the zodiac, so it's a little bit above Orion. So, and then far to the left of Gemini and Orion is what killed Orion ultimately was Scorpio, the scorpion. So, lots of interesting stuff out there for you guys to see, and I'm going to try to show you guys, here's how you find Orion, then I'm going to try to show you, oh, you go this way, there's Taurus, this way, or Gemini, Canis Major, Canis Minor, Lepus, and the Pleiades. I'm also going to try and show you how to find Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Draco, Cepheus, Cassiopeia, Andromeda, Perseus, and Hydra, all kinds of stuff. I'm going to try and show you how to find those in the sky. I might add it to this video because the video is only 9 minutes now. I might add a little bit at the end where it's just pictures and text for how to find these things, but we'll see how much editing I get done this weekend. If I don't get it done this weekend, I might save that for the next video. I can talk about constellations for like 3 more videos if I want to, but I'm not going to do that. I will eventually show you guys how to find Hercules, Monoceros the unicorn, a few others. Corona Borealis, the northern crown, and a few other things in the northern hemisphere. Oh, look, I'm bumping into the board. Okay, I'm gonna call that good for now. I think I'm done talking for now, but we'll see what I can come up with for later. Hopefully it'll be fun for you guys to be able to see these things in the sky when you have a chance to go look. All right, I've got about 4 minutes to explain how to turn this into this. This is a star wheel. This is for looking at the sky at night. You set the date and time over here, and this is what the night sky should look like. So let's see how we cut it out first. This over here, you're going to cut around the outside edge of that, and this rectangle stays attached, and you cut out the circle in the middle, and you should end up with this right here, with the white rectangle at the bottom. You don't want to cut this part off. You want to make sure you end up with this right here when you cut that out. And then when you cut this one out, you want to end up with just the circle. And here's just the circle right here, the disc that goes inside the star wheel folder. And so you take this and you fold up the bottom edge and you staple it right there, and you get the little folder to put this thing in, and you end up with a star wheel. And then right now, let's just use today's date. We're on February 25th, and at midnight to 1 a.m. on February 25th, ooh, that's the 20th, February 25th at midnight to 1 a.m., the night sky should look like this. We should see the dog star, Sirius, and if we have to point this north, we have to hold this over our head pointing this north and this south. So we hold it up above us, and so if you look down on it on the table, like I'm looking down at the table, and this would be backwards. But if you hold it up over your head and look at the sky and this at the same time, it should be forwards. It should be the right way. And so February 25th midnight, we should see in the center of the sky Leo, Virgo here, Ursa Major, Cancer, Gemini, etc. And that's midnight to 1 a.m. Now, early in the evening, we would see a different set of stars because the stars change throughout the night. So February 25th at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night, we should see Orion in the middle. Orion, our famous winter constellation, and as we go throughout the night, Orion gets closer and closer and closer to the western horizon, and then Orion sets, and then Orion is being chased by the Scorpion, because the Scorpion eventually kills Orion in the stories, and so eventually you'll see Scorpio come up over the eastern horizon, and that's going to be February 25th around 3 to 4 in the morning. And so this changes throughout the night and shows you what you should see, and eventually at 4 or 5 a.m., 5 to 6 a.m., when the sun's about to come up, you get your Sagittarius and Aquila coming up over the horizon, and you get setting over here, Leo and Virgo are about to go down over the horizon in the west. And so that's how you read the star wheel. If you want to observe in May at midnight, this is what you're going to see. Hercules and Boetus in the center. And if you want to observe in, let's see, we want to do a summer month, August, you're going to have Cygnus the swan and Aquila in the center, Aquarius and Sagittarius, and so forth. So that's how you assemble this, and that's how you read it. And hopefully I didn't go over my 4 minutes.